I finally got around to watching Superman and Lois, the pilot episode. I gotta be honest, I was hesitant to watching this show. I didn't know if I cared enough to make more room in my schedule to watch more superhero shows, especially on the CW. I feel like the CW verse has lost my interest in a lot of ways with their shows. But the good word of mouth that I've heard on Twitter with how good this show was, how good this episode was, it made me sit down and say, all right, finally, let's do this. And I was impressed with what I saw just in this first episode. You're talking about the very beginning when you're seeing the introduction to Superman and his backstory. You see him as Baby Kal-El landing on Smallville, being found by the Kents. Sure, this is something that we've seen hundreds of times, it feels like, but I didn't realize how necessary it was until I saw it, especially how you go through everything. In minutes, we go through the death of his father, Jonathan Kent, meeting and falling in love with Lois Lane. And I appreciated that. It almost made me kind of want to see a whole series about that, about these two characters meeting and falling in love just because of how well the actors played it. I know that we've seen stories of Lois and Clark meeting and falling in love and Superman revealing himself to her. Like, we've seen that play out by so many different actors, but seeing these actors for the first time play that out, it was effective. I mean, we've seen these characters even in the Supergirl show and the crossovers of those shows, but they've never felt more like real characters. They never felt like people that I wanted to follow more so than in this show. Once we jump into the story, you see that they have teenage sons, who is Jonathan and Jordan. Jonathan's the one who's the quarterback, kind of the cooler one that they suspect has powers. Jordan is the very more angsty, almost emo-like teen who keeps to himself, has been diagnosed with social anxiety. And so there's a couple moments where I was worried about this Jordan kid and how much he could annoy me. It's funny looking back that it's been 20 years since Smallville came into play, and Smallville being the age that I grew up with Smallville. I related at that time to young Clark and all of the angst that came with that. But now that I'm older, I see Jordan and everything going on with the girl that he likes and him getting angry with his father for lying. And I sort of roll my eyes because I'm like, ugh. I just didn't really care for him. I related so much more to Clark being a father and him trying to deal with all of that responsibility. Even when him and Lois disagree with how he didn't want his kids to know. He was worried about how that would affect them and his secret. But Lois thought that they should know just in case they develop powers. I love that even though these two disagreed, that it didn't become a whole thing where I disliked one of them or I thought one of them was being immature for their opinion. It wasn't until we find out that Jordan has powers. Jordan's the one with abilities. That's when he came around. That's when he started to get close to Clark and the idea of being Superman's son. I think that it was important to get all of that anger out of the way in the first episode so that now going forward it will be about Superman trying to teach his sons, show them the way to go. As far as other characters, Lana Lang and her husband and the daughter is the one that Jordan likes. I'm curious about this as well because it seems like this Lana isn't aware that Clark is Superman, that she might know that weird things happen in Smallville, especially growing up, and she still might have a thing for Clark, so maybe that will become a thing in the future. We get a couple shots of Superman trying to stop nuclear power plants from exploding, and we eventually find out that somebody is causing this. They've been watching Superman. It's somebody in some robotic-like suit, and I probably should have known who this was, judging off of the suit and judging off of what they were setting up. how this person knows so much about Clark, how he's already aware of everything, his weaknesses and whatnot. But it wasn't until we see that this person in the suit is Lex Luthor. Now, this isn't John Cryer's Lex Luthor, who has been established in the Supergirl show as their Lex. This is a different universe. He's called Captain Luthor, and I guess he's black. I'll be honest, I don't know. Like, we haven't seen enough of him yet for me to fully judge and to cast an opinion on the actor himself and how he will be portrayed compared to any other Lex. I've seen some debate online, and I think I'm leaning towards the ones that don't really want to see a black Lex Luthor, just because to me Lex represents that entitled white power that you would see in the business sense of the world, more traditional sense. And I just feel like it's Lex being black sort of changes his hatred for Superman purely based on Superman being an alien and not being from this planet. And so you bring in some race issue here. The budget and the special effects, the CGI was insane. The direction, the cinematography, this looked very cinematic. This looked like it didn't seem like it was a CW show. It seemed like it could compete with other things that I've been watching on Disney Plus or HBO Max. Seeing Superman and Lois at this point in their lives, at this point in their relationship, is something that I've been craving to see, especially since I guess we won't get a Man of Steel sequel anytime soon, if ever. And as much as I miss Henry Cavill as Superman, as much as I miss Amy Adams and seeing those characters get to this point where these characters are on the show, I like what I'm getting. I can't believe how much I'm enjoying what I saw here, and I will, without a doubt, continue to watch this show. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Superman and Lois? Did you watch it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!